In Part 2, we talked about the rise of Mulan's kingdom, the Northern Wei, among the 16 kingdoms at war. Now let's look at what life was like for Mulan and her people. The area where she lived was in or near modern Shaanxi province, south of Inner Mongolia. Wikipedia describes the area as located on a plateau made up of higher ground to the east and the west, and a series of valleys in the center. Because her tribe is described as Proto-Mongolic, it seems reasonable to refer to information about the Mongols themselves. The Mongols had herds of goats, cows, and horses, but did not grow any crops. Each family lived in a big felt tent called a yurt. They were set up in a sheltered spot near a stream or a river. The clan moved whenever its horses needed new grazing land or when the weather grew cold. The Mongols were nomads. This meant that they moved from one campsite to another to find better weather or conditions. There were few villages or towns. Despite the last quote, Mulan probably lived in or near a town, possibly Datong, the capital of the Northern Wei during her time. In the ballad, she saw draft posters with lists of names, probably nailed to a wall or a wooden post. She goes to markets to buy a horse and gear, even though her family should have had plenty of that. After the war, when she arrives back home, her parents go outside a wall to meet her, possibly a city wall, or the wall of their family compound. And finally, when she enters her old home, she opens the door to the east chamber and sits in a couch in the west room, which sounds like a fixed structure, not the inside of a large tent. We don't know if these details were part of the original ballad or were added later to make her seem less like a Mongolian nomad. The Zhang translation is much clearer on the subject. Mulan's parents live in a town and, holding each other, her proud parents walked to the village gate to welcome her. We do know the Zhanbei tribe retained their lifestyle as nomads, with a strong culture of horsemanship, so let's continue with the analogy to Mongols. Girls were taught to take care of the camp by their mothers or older sisters. They learned how to cook, how to milk cows and goats, how to ride, and how to make and repair felt, wool, and fur tents. They also learned how to make clothes for the family, which is why the ballad begins with Mulan working to the sound of a shuttle, the kayak-shaped wooden tool used with a loom to make clothes and blankets. The average Mongol family would be the two parents and their unmarried children. For the most part, the women of the Mongol Empire led a hard life, sharing most of the hardships but few of the pleasures with their menfolk. The men practice shooting with bows. They compel even boys 3 or 4 years old to do the same exercise, and even some of the women, especially the maidens, like Mulan, practice archery and ride as a rule like men. So how hard would it have been for Mulan to go from a life of milking cows and stitching clothes to riding horses and shooting bows and arrows? She would have already known how to saddle and ride a horse, which were skills needed by everyone in the family. It's not hard to imagine the harsh life of a nomad in the grasslands and mountains would prepare her for years of marching and warfare with the men of her tribe. In Part 4, we'll talk more about the war Mulan fought in and the triumph of the Northern Wei dynasty. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel for new videos every week or two, and see the description below for references to books and online resources featured in this video.